Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our YPNU series. This is a series on technology issues, and we are glad to have all of you here today, and also want to give a shout out, say welcome to our other partners out there through the state of Ohio and across the country who are joining us for this. And of course, this series would not be possible without our sponsor, Caliber Home Loans. And just to let you all know, for those of you who attend all 4 classes, Caliber, after the 4th class, will be giving you a book, The Purple Cow. It is a marketing book and just a little extra something special for you for attending all of these classes. So today's topic is something that I think is probably very confusing to a lot of people. As I said just a few minutes ago, my technology skills need a lot of work. So when it comes to website, search engine optimization, I would need a lot of help so I could be the most effective. But lucky for you, it's not me who's going to be teaching this. We have our friends from Catapult Creative, Ryan Myers and Rachel Jenkins, that are here today to take you everywhere you need to know about search engine optimization and websites. And with that, I'll let you take it away.
All right. Thank you, Jennifer. How's everybody doing today? Good. Good. Everybody in the interweb? I'm sure you're doing good as well. So we had a great time last class. And if you just want to preface, if you guys do have any questions from the last class on social media or anything, we can take those at the end. But today we're talking about SEO and website management.
Whereas last class we were talking really about tangible things that you could do with your social media. Obviously websites are more intangible. We're talking about things that you don't necessarily see that make your website faster and more easy to find for people that are looking for you. So with this class we're going to do less giving you a lot of information and more giving you some examples, taking examples of your own websites and kind of walking through what's working and what's not working with them for their SEO and optimization.
Okay. So we, for our overview, we're going to do a website walkthrough, kind of take a look at who has a website, what you're currently doing with it, what can you do to further make yourself be more visible online. And we'll go over SEO and Google Analytics, and then reputation management, followed by Q&A.
How many people just off the bat have their own website? Good. Perfect. So we're going to get some examples of some of your websites if you are interested, and use your websites as examples of going through the different aspects that make a website good.
Just real quick, what's the, does anybody have a website in WordPress?
Does everyone know what their website is built in the first place?
Whether it's like Wix or Squarespace or anything like that?
Glacier. Let's show them an example with a built with, just so they can, so this is how you're going to figure out what your website is built in real quick.
So if you have Google Chrome, you'll notice this little extension that you can get. It's for free in the Google store. Just search extensions, and it's called Built With. So whatever site you're on, you just hit that, and it'll pretty much tell you what's on your website.
Can you scroll and kind of go through some of this? So we've got on this website, we've got a heat mapping software. This is going to tell, it's something that's telling what exactly people are doing on your website, like how far are they scrolling down the page, what things are they clicking on. We've obviously got Google Analytics.
The Facebook pixel for tracking if you're doing social media ads, stuff like that.
Gravity forms is like contact forms, anything like that. Then when you get to the bottom, so right up here, this is what's going to tell you what your website's built in. It'll either say WordPress, if it's just straight code, maybe it just says jQuery, maybe it says PHP, all that kind of stuff. So this is basically telling you, like, if you admire a website, you can figure out exactly what they made it with just by opening this tool. And we use it ourselves when we're looking at client websites and trying to figure it out. Yeah?
What's the name again?
It's Built With.
And it's in our app store?
It's in the Google Chrome store. Yeah.
And it's free. You just download it, and it becomes that little icon on the top.
I just have a little website for another business I have too beside my real estate.
Sure.
I just got it from Vistaprint. It was like click on it. Some of them, turnkey websites. It's
Mhm.
just you can put a couple pictures. It's a tiling business. I don't care so much of pictures people who tile what we do. So does it have one of it has one of those things on it too? You think? I'm sorry for interrupting.
No, you're fine. Yeah,
All
absolutely.
websites have those.
Yeah, so
all
this is, it's built into your web browser. Oh, so this lady was asking, would her site, built with, would her website be able to be read by it? And the answer is yes. What it is, it's built into your web browser. So whatever website you go to, you just hit the built with button, and it'll pull up what's on that website.
And I think the best way to use this again is finding sites that you like of other people's and you want to emulate them. Like what plugins are they using? What like little code things are in the website? You can just see it this way. And if you end up hiring someone to do it, all you have to say is like, look, I want this, this, and this into my website.
So if
She's going to bring the mic. Hold on. Thank you.
okay. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. So if someone else is managing your site and you go into this because they really think you know nothing
Mhm.
and that this is rocket science, and you go in and you see what they utilize to build your site, can you override anything that they've done and make changes or?
I mean, the short answer is yes, absolutely. If you're asking, could you do it yourself? It depends on if it's like something that's hard-coded, meaning, like straight code in the back, or if it's something on the front end that is just like, oh, we don't like the way the photos look or the type that they're using, that kind of stuff should be able to be changed by you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and all you would need is just a login to go into the back of the website. And I know typically with us, when we build a website for someone, we give them training. So you can always ask them, hey, I need training on the site. I'd like to be able to edit things on the fly.
And every website has, so this is super
Okay.
basic, but a front end and a back end. The back end is like the code and the structure of the website, and the front end is the stuff that you actually see.
So the front end, I understand, and I can do things, but the back end is what I'm referring to.
Yeah, it depends what your back end is built in. For instance, if it was built in WordPress, then a lot of times, yes, you could get in yourself and do that kind of thing. If it was in something a little fancier like Drupal, Ruby Rails, you would need an actual developer to do so.
Okay.
All right, so this is a quick website checklist that we take everyone through just to make sure that you're hitting the main points that are going to get you found on Google. So this idea of, is your website responsive? How is your on-page SEO? Meaning, like, are the keywords that you want to be found for used on your website? Are they used behind the scenes as well as visually on the website? So in the past, the way SEO worked, it was a lot of keywords and blogging. And at this point, it's more, are the images titled correctly? Are the pages titled correctly? You don't have to hit people over the head with the keywords that you want to be found with anymore. They're more behind the scenes, and they give you that SEO juice in the end. So we want to make sure that everyone has Google Analytics on their site. It's free. You get immediate data of how people are using your sites, and just everyone should have it on their site. How easy is it to add, edit, or remove content? You're going to know this yourself. If it's not easy for you to add or remove content on your own site, it's probably not built well, or you just need extra training on how to use it.
How do you put Google Analytics on your site? How do you know if you have it on your site?
We'll show you. But to check, you would do use the built with program. Yeah, so she was asking how does she have Google Analytics on her site? And we already prepped for that. We'll get into that. That's further on in this presentation.
Let's show them. Oh, there you go. We're going to show you quick what responsive means. It's a quick jargon term for us, but it means how does your website change when it's viewed on a tablet or a large screen or a phone. And it's really important that the design of the website shrinks to the screen so that you're not losing people. People can see all the information no matter what kind of screen they're using.
Yeah, because in the past, you would see, if you're on your phone, you'd see like m.daytonrealtors.com. Now with updates in WordPress and everything and other website builders, now you don't have to have a separate website for your cell phone. So when we say responsive, I'll show you real quick. So this is full width right now. And when we shrink it down, you'll notice how the navigation goes away. This is about the tablet size. And you have the hamburger menu. And then this is phone size. So you'll see everything scales down. That way you don't have to have a separate site or anything like that. And this is one of the things that Google looks for. If you don't have a responsive website, it's going to get dinged. You won't be higher up in the ranking. And with Google Analytics, it's a whole bunch of stuff that affect where you are. It's responsiveness. Are you tagging your images correctly for people who are blind? So like this picture with this guy here, it would be like man on crane. So that way, if they're blind, they can just hear that.
It's a lot of little things behind the scene, whereas in the past, like we're going to keep harping on this, that SEO has changed a lot in the last 10 years. It used to be where, you'd have to have tree, landscape, valuable assets, trees, shrubs, Dayton, all in that line to be found, and it needs to be, seen as a header by Google. Now Google's a lot smarter. We don't need to put that all in the website. It just has to be behind the scenes.
Here's another example. Really cool dog kennel in Lewisburg. So when you're in mobile, everything shrinks down. You have the mobile menu. The gallery, it was 3 images width. Now it's just 1, but you can still sort through it.
And an important thing to note is your website obviously is going to get longer on a mobile device. You're not going to be able to see videos because then you're using people's data, and you want it, like this is obviously a desktop and it feels that way, but when it's on a mobile, it needs to look different and feel different for people to be able to use it. Whereas people might only get 50% through this on a desktop, they might get 100% of it on a mobile. So it really just, you have to think about how are your people finding you and what devices are they using to do so.
Here's one more example for you guys. This one's a little different because we have the navigation on the left, but when it goes to mobile, the hamburger menu goes to the top versus the side. So right about the tablet size, like a larger iPad, that's when it would go back to the left.
And this is just a little thing that tells Google you're not an old business, you're a new business, and that you're up to date in a legitimate business that they should be showing people.
All right. So this is the fun stuff. On-page SEO and how to fix it. So there's 3 real things that kind of add on to the responsiveness and everything like that. So you have the SEO title tags, the SEO keywords, and meta description. You guys are all probably wondering, what is that? We got you. So you want to do this? You want me to roll through?
Sure. So on top, there's a few, this is what Google is seeing on your website, right? This is before someone has actually entered your website. So this little thing at the top, this little favicon, does your website have one? It's important when the tabs shrink down on Google, you just see that little image, and it's another one of those things that just tells Google, I'm a legitimate business, I have all these things. With our title tags, when someone Googles you, we've got Keller Homes, Town, Realty. It doesn't say, Squarespace page 1, which it might if you were to build your own website, or if you just, you had one of the kind of quick fix websites. They don't necessarily have all these things that Google wants to see to know that you're a legit business. These meta descriptions are when someone Googles you, what does Google say about you? So we've got, view real estate homes for sale in Dayton, Vandalia, Englewood, Tip City, Troy, blah, blah, blah. Either way, you get to write this. So you get to own whatever Google tells people about you. So it's really important that whatever we talked in the last class about your secret sauce, whatever that is, you want that to be the first thing people see about you.
And it also depends on, so you have different pages. You want to make sure that each page on your website has specific keywords and title tags to the content on that page. Like you don't want to just do Dayton's best realtor on every single page when it's about your services or listings. You want it to be relevant content per what the user's actually seeing.
Can we show them examples?
So right here, you have the Remax one, Kettering, Ohio. What I Google searched was Kettering, Ohio real estate agent. So boom, the Remax has Kettering, Ohio real estate agents -Remax. And then you have Irongate. They have Kettering, Ohio realtors So what they did was they built a specific landing page for Kettering and tagged and had a whole bunch of content on Kettering. So if I live in Kettering and I'm looking for an agent or a realtor, that's what they're going to come up higher in the rankings than, say, someone else who just has Dayton's best realtor.
And that's a strategy you can use. If you have one specific area that you have the best impact with, or you're only a realtor for certain areas, then creating a landing page for that area can be a smart idea. Can we click on just any of these and show them kind of the page tagging?
So right now, this one just says home.
Okay, bad example. It shouldn't just say home, because this isn't telling Google who you are. It isn't telling them anything about you. It should say Kinsler? Kinsler Realty, you know.
Yeah, kind of like this website right here. On the home page, it says best tree trimming and arborists.
Mm-hmm. And again, we've got that favicon at the top, the little tree. You know, whatever your logo is should be there to say that. Can we get into the back end of a website and show them alt tags? So this is obviously going to be in WordPress because that's just what we usually build in. But whatever you have, you should have a backend that you can access like this.
So to get into the SEO part, you're going to want to go to the page that you want to focus on first. Obviously, we'll do the home page. That looks scary, doesn't it? So this is where you would kind of go in and edit your meta descriptions and your title tags for each of the pages. Mm-hmm. So right now we have the snippet, we turn your dream homes into your home. From totally custom builds to our award-winning communities, GA White makes your dreams a reality. So that's that sentence when you go to when you Google search this thing right here. That's what that is. So when you go to title tags,
and you can tell that what they're trying to get at is custom home building. When someone wants to build a custom home in Dayton, ideally, they will show up. Mm-hmm. And you want to stay away from using keywords that are too basic. Like you don't want to do like best realtor ever, because obviously, or you don't want to just be your keyword to be realtor. You're going to be fighting thousands and thousands of people. So as specialized as you can be with what you're selling is the best way to go.
And then once you update it, you just hit update. Obviously, whatever platform you guys use, they should have functionality. I know with like Squarespace, Wix, they all have some sort of functionality with SEO to where you can create your own meta tags and SEO titles. Mm-hmm. Does anybody have any questions on that? So then we have the SEO keywords. So a website that is well optimized for search engines speaks the same language as its potential visitor. Based with keywords for SEO that help connect searchers to your site. Keywords are one of the main elements of SEO. So what this is saying, when I look back at that Remax site where it had the Kettering landing page, that's speaking directly to someone looking for an agent in Kettering. So that's pretty good keywords.
Something else that we're getting at is, in the past, you would pay a SEO expert monthly to continuously update your keywords, continuously work on this. The way Google's built now, you don't have to do that. If you do it correctly the first time, you're going to naturally gain the traction with Google that you need. You don't have to pay someone every month to go through and change little keywords. If you're Walmart or if you're a huge company, then maybe you do. But for the most part, you don't need to do that.
How often do we have to change them, if at all?
For instance, like I can speak for like most of our clients, one time. When we do the website at the beginning, we make sure the keywords make sense. We do research on them. We make sure everything's tagged correctly. All the the little favicons at the top, all that kind of stuff is a one-time thing.
And I will say, if you've noticed that, I would say you need to check your Google, search your Google name, search your business, and do that. You could do it every week, every month, but just pay attention to who, if you're falling or if you're gaining. You want to stay on top of where you're at. because you don't want to just do it once and then leave it for 5 years because
Yeah.
things change. So, like some of these are SEO keyword no-nos.
I would also add really quickly that, because this is something we didn't mention, if you want to see where you rank naturally, you have to search in incognito mode, right? So if you're always going to your own website, which naturally you would be, you're going to come at the top. So you're going to think like, wow, I'm doing really great. I come up for Dayton Realtors, I'm doing great. But you have to view that in incognito mode to see truly accurate results.
And I know in Chrome, you just go to File, New Incognito Window. If you use Safari, it's private mode. Every web browser has a private mode, and that's where they're not taking any of your cookies.
Yep.
Sites you've been on, like you were looking at shoes the other day, you won't get shoe ads. And you get the most accurate results for what you're looking for. So the next, the no-nos, we have not bothering to update and expand your SEO keyword list. That's something you want to kind of pay attention to. There is a free, another Google Chrome extension. It is called Keywords Everywhere. It's available in the Google Store as well, and I'll show you kind of what it does.
And we're showing you a lot of these free things that you can add to your Google because they're easy to do, they're free, and they can take away a lot of the research that you would have to do otherwise.
So for Dayton Real Estate Agent in Beaver Creek, it gives you related keywords, gives you people also searched for. Obviously, Zillow has the most hits, Coldwell Banker Dayton. And then, like, if you see them, they're like, wow, they're really high. Go look at what they're doing. See what they're doing versus what you're not doing.
You came up with that list by Googling keywords everywhere.
So just like the built with, where it's like a little tool on the corner, if you were to install Keywords Everywhere, it will come on the side like this.
Oh, so you have to install.
Yeah, just on your browser.
No, you're fine. Yeah, it's really quick and easy. Again, it's free. It's like downloading an app. But
Show everyone how to do that.
Mm-hmm.
sure. Oh, she just asked how basically do we get this app. So we'll take you through real quick how to get it. So he's in the settings of just Google in general. Naturally.
Okay, so this is the Chrome store for extensions.
This is just like the App Store on your phone where you download whatever you want. It's the same thing for Google.
So if we go to Chrome web store or chrome.com.
It's chrome.google.com/webstore.
Yeah, you can get there a bunch of different ways. You
Yeah.
can literally just Google, I want to add an extension to Google Chrome, and this is what's going to come up.
So then you'd find it, and then you would just hit Add to Chrome. Emoji keyboard.
Yeah, there's an extension for everything. You can have anything you want.
And the good thing about this is you can export it as well. So you can do a whole bunch of keyword searches, export them all, and then just kind of look at it all at once.
Yeah, this does the research for you. You really don't have to do anything. You just press export, and it becomes a whole Excel sheet of what people are looking for when you search those terms.
And it gives you, where you see CPC, that's like if you were running ad campaigns, it gives you kind of like a rough estimate of what that cost per click rate is. So, like the 55 cents, that's a great cost per click price. When you see 462, that's pretty high.
And that can help you figure out what keywords you want to use as well. Obviously, if garden real estate agents is 462, don't waste your time. But if you see, like some of these are at 0, we've got, Kinsler Realty listing Big Hill Realty Rentals are at 0. So those would be good terms to use if that's what you're trying to do. That brings us obviously to our third one of targeting keywords that are too popular. You don't want to be too vague. You always want to be more targeted if you can.
All right. Does anybody have any questions on that?
With regards to the keywords, you have to type them in exactly as you have them?
Yes. Yeah, so with the keywords, do you have to type them in exactly? yes, I would say the short answer is yes. If you were to change the keyword at all, it would give you a different result.
Okay. So how many of you do have Google Analytics on your website? Couple?
Unknown. Even if somebody built your website for you, you should still have access to your Google Analytics. Even if you just had a college student build your website, reach out to them, ask them, do I have Google Analytics? And if so, can you send me the login? Because this is constant data that you're not getting if you don't have it. It's free data. It's already being generated. It's just, do you want it or not? And the answer is always yes.
So why Google Analytics is important. You get to know your audience, who is visiting your site, how do they find your site, what do they do on your website, and then when are they coming by. So you can see device traffic, whether your views are mainly on the computer or if they're on iPhones or desktop, iPads, what city they're actually viewing the site from, what time of day. So you can see like, okay, well, a lot of the people visiting my site are from 10 to 12, Tuesday through Thursday, but I'm not doing anything on the weekend. So like if you're running ads, that's handy because you can really hone in on when your organic website traffic is, and then kind of maybe play around on the weekend to see if you can get a new audience or new traffic to the website, or just milk that core audience.
I also want to know what visitors are doing on your website. If your website, you think people are just immediately going to your contact page and contacting you, and instead they're spending 20 minutes on your about page, they're only doing that because they're confused and they don't know what to do on your about page. So it helps you find what areas of your website are weak and need help.
Hey, and can I remind everybody, if you have a question to ask, that's great. We want questions. Raise your hand. We'll get the mic to you. We do have people from other associations listening in, and we want to make sure they can hear your questions too, because they're not in the room with us. And chat with us, please.
Of course. So we're going to run you through some Google Analytics that we have and just kind of show you briefly how to use them without getting too bogged down in the tech data.
So if you don't already have Google Analytics, this is we try to break it down as easy as possible for you guys. So when you start out, you just go to the Google Analytics homepage, and that is literally just analytics.google.com, and then you would...
And you could find this again by just Googling Google Analytics login, and it will come up.
Mm-hmm. Then you hit start for free. And then next you'll be prompted into signing in with the existing Google account, or you can just create one if you don't already have a Gmail. And then once you log in, you'll be presented with pretty much a step-by-step process on, okay, this is how you set your Google Analytics page up. So now you'll pretty much be naming your account. So the first step is naming the account. That's the overall Google Analytics account. So let's say you mentioned you're a realtor, but you also have a small business. You would want to just create a name that's just maybe your name or Lisa's websites or something like that. And then so that way, if you do have an extra site, you can keep it within that same overall Google Analytics account, and then have maybe 5 sites. Like on ours, we probably have like 10 sites for certain clients, and if a client has their own, they may have 2 for themselves.
And this isn't something anyone's going to see but you. So like if you were to name it Lisa's website, it's not going to come up when people Google you, which is important.
So then you have, they call it, after you've created your account, then they call it setting up your property, which would be your website. And then you would name it, obviously, like, lisasrealestate.com. Then you select a category. So obviously you would do real estate. And then obviously you want to make sure your time zone is correct. So obviously we're Eastern. And then this is where it's not tricky, it just looks tricky. But
ignore the code, you don't need it.
all you have to do is copy and paste it. So once you finish the previous steps, select the Get Tracking ID and accept the service agreement that appears, and then you'll see this little screen right here, and you're going to want to copy and paste that tracking ID. And you can see that there's some code right there, but if you're new to websites, I would just copy and paste the tracking ID. And let's say you have a WordPress site, you can just download a free plugin, which I'll show you guys here in a second, to where you just upload the plugin on your WordPress site, and then it does the coding for you. You just copy and paste the tracking ID, hit update, and then it takes 24 hours for Google Analytics to start pumping out your actual website usage. So here's one of the free plugins. This was the most simple one I found.
And this is for WordPress again. So, if you've got Squarespace or Ruby, you just need to Google, Google Analytics for Ruby. Something will come up like that.
Yeah, and Squarespace and like Wix, they actually they have like the same thing where you just copy and paste your tracking ID.
Mm-hmm.
So for this one, it's got 58 5 stars, 2 4 stars, and only 1 1 star. Installation's really simple. You just upload the plugin, activate it, and then copy and paste your tracking ID, and then you're good to go.
Copy and paste it where?
Into the, like when you open up the plugin, it'll ask you what your tracking ID is, and you just copy and paste it right there.
Plugin is something you add to your website that is not your website. So, like if you were to, it's basically like an app. If you download it, it'll be on your website, and it'll say like, all right, you've just downloaded this plugin, what's your tracking ID, and you just pop it in there.
You have a question?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Steve Young with EXP. A lot of us pay for lead generation, other websites. Is there a way to have our own website do that also?
What are you, specifically with lead generation, do you know what services you're paying for?
Well, it's lead capture, so basically people have to log in and register on our website. So they put a phone number, phony or real, and an email address, usually phony or real, and answer a few questions about their requirements, what bedrooms, what neighborhoods, those kind of things. So can that be done on my own website as well?
Yeah.
The short answer is it depends like how they're lead capturing. Like are they lead capturing by, a Google ad that sends people to your website? Are they lead capturing by putting, a blog post out that says, oh, you're interested in buying a house in Dayton? Like click here for more information.
All the above.
All of the above?
I mean, we might post on Facebook with a link to that page.
Mm-hmm.
We might post on Instagram with a link to that page.
And the overall question is just like, is that necessary, really?
What?
I'm sorry, I'm trying to recap what your question was. So
My question is, can I do that without paying somebody else?
Short answer, yes. We're kind of taking you guys through the weeds, if you will, on like how to do some of this stuff in case you do want to do it yourself. With lead capture specifically, you can get leads by doing lead capture services. You can get leads by being forefront on Google. You can get leads by doing really good social media. It really just depends what your strategy is. And sadly, the answer is I could talk about it for 10 hours. I can't give you the exact, don't spend with lead capture, spend exactly here.
Yeah, a lot of the franchises give us web pages, and it's an IDX connection to the MLS, and they can come search, but they might search my website, but go to some other realtor to look at the house. So I guess that's part of the advantage of having the lead capture ability is to be able to follow up with that person, hopefully before they buy something.
Yeah. Do you want to talk at all about some of the lead capturing stuff you do with the emails?
Yeah, I mean, MailChimp, they offer some lead capture, but a lot of this stuff you probably will have to pay to play. It's just whether you are going to pay like a company or pay pay MailChimp. Because if you pay a company, they're going to be using a platform that they typically use. So you'd be paying 2 people versus just paying 1.
Yeah, I guess part of the advantage that we have with some of those is it also includes a CRM.
So if the lead automatically gets funneled into there, then you
Right.
can just pull everything up.
Right.
Yeah. As far as something that's free,
I don't have any good suggestions on free services that would do that for you. Does that make sense? Like we can teach you how to be higher up on the search. We can teach you how to, show up on social media, but I can't say like, oh, there's this free service that will do that for you. Does that make sense?
Right.
So,
Thank you.
yeah, sorry I didn't have an answer for that. But
Does anybody have any questions on Google Analytics?
can we show them a Google Analytics of ours and
Yeah.
kind of like what the data looks like and what you can
Mhm.
do with it?
I just want to show this pretty graphic first. Okay, so once your analytics is all set up, you waited 24 hours, you actually saw some traffic on your website. It's typically going to come to, we can go to the home. I have it set up on behavior, but we'll just go to home first. So it'll show active users right now on the site. So currently there's 28 users on this website. In the last 7 days, they've had 7.2, down 28% from the previous 7 days. Sessions are people just on the website. Users is just one person, but sessions, it could be you've been to this website 5 times in a week. Each one of those times is a session. Not a user is just, okay, one new or returning person has been there, but a session, let's say you've been there 5 different times in a week, that's going to count as a session versus a user every time you've been there.
And then we see your bounce rate. What your bounce rate is someone who comes to your website and then goes, oh, that's not what I'm looking for, and leaves. So when you see a bounce rate like that, it can mean that they've clicked on the wrong thing. Like it could be absolutely not your fault. It could be they're just clicking around. It could be your competition looking at other realtor sites. So don't panic if your bounce rate is somewhat high.
Because I know why that bounce rate is high, because I would say a majority of the people are just clicking that member button that takes them away from the website. So that's one of those things where you see this data, but then there's other things that you can research, like it's called Hotjar, where it's heat mapping, and it'll show you what buttons on each page get hit the most. Like it'll say like 30%.
Do you have any Hotjar on yours? So Hotjars is like the amped up version of Google Analytics, where Google Analytics can tell you 80 people were on your site. Hotjar can tell you these 80 people did this. And it's important if you're trying to figure out what people do on your site. It is not free, though. It is $50 a month for a single website. So we'll show it to you just to see kind of like what we do with it sometimes, but
Yeah, it goes hand in hand with Google Analytics, because it's not going to tell you what your top pages are,
yes.
where the people came from. So like on this home page for Google Analytics, you have the top pages the last 7 days. Obviously, where you just see the slash, that's the home page. Then the second one is the listing search for residential, followed by members. And what's really cool is then you go to acquisition, which is, okay, how did people get to your website? So right now, direct, that means they already know your website URL. They just went to dabr.com, boom. And then organic search is somebody actually searching Dayton Realtors or dabr.com. Then you have social media, how many people came from social media. And then referral, that could be like email campaigns, or if you have a news article on like WHIO for Dayton Realtors and they came there.
So you see, so with the direct, this is people that are already your customers. The bounce rate's going to be higher here because they already know what they're looking for on your site, right? They went to the DABR site and they immediately went to the member portal because they knew what they were looking for. And Google does a good job of kind of like condensing all these results so you're not just like staring at data. It does a really nice job of making immediate charts.
So this is a little more broken down version of where people are coming from. So you have direct, you have Google. Looks like Bing's still around. Yahoo, people are still using Yahoo a little bit. Facebook, and you can go in. It says it has 79 different sources, so you can sort it. Like you can do 500, and they may be small, but you can just see how the heck did this person get to my website? Like, from Cincy MLS.
And some of the kind of like lesser used search engines may be from a different country too.
And another tab is audience, so you can kind of see demographics. Let's see.
So here it shows you what age of people, what gender of people are looking at your site. And this is important when you're deciding what your social media voice should be and what your website should sound like. If you find out that only women are going to your site and they're over 50, then that kind of tells you who your audience should be. Or if you find that that's the case and you're like, no, I'm trying to reach 20-year-old dudes, then you got to change what you're doing.
This one shows you, okay, what did people use when browsing? Obviously, Chrome has the most, followed by Safari, Edge, Firefox. Then you can break it down by network. So, Time Warner, AT&T, stuff that you may not even want this data, but it's there.
You have it, yeah.
Another good one is location. So we want to click on city. So right now, Centerville by far has the most hits to the website. So like let's say a realtor in Beaver Creek, you should probably have the most traffic in Beaver Creek or the surrounding area if people likely to move. But when you see obviously Beaver Creek has more military families, so you could see a lot more out of town people who are going to be transferred in there.
Mm-hmm.
Let's show you Hotjar.
This is that more expensive plugin that we were talking about, the $50 a month. And we often put this on websites that we build to prove how people are using the websites and make sure that the design that we've done makes sense and is easy for people to use. So what you're looking at right here is, this is a literal heat map of what people are doing on this website. So you see that we've got a few clicks here, but most of them are going to this. What is that? Is that the cart?
Which one?
This guy right here.
I think that's my account.
Okay, so then those are returning customers. If they're all going to my account, they already have an account with you. Obviously, this is an e-commerce website, but it works for everything.
Mm-hmm.
So let's put it on page fold too. Again, you see there's not many people getting to the bottom of the website, and that's very typical. You want the most important goods of your website to be in that first fold, which is before someone has to scroll to see more. So you always want to put the most important information at the top. So what this is showing us is, so this line right here is what I'm talking about with that fold. When you open this website, you only see this aspect. So everybody's getting this who goes to the website.
Yeah, so it'd be like the equivalent of seeing this right when you go to a web page.
Can you scroll? So this yellow, what percent is that? So that's pretty good. 81% of people are still going all the way down here. And this is obviously people that are interested in the different products and they want to know more. We've got 32% of people getting down to this request a sample. So maybe that tells us if samples are the most important thing, maybe we need to put samples at the top. Maybe we need to focus on, showing products first or, whatever, what have you. But you can also look at this between desktop, mobile, tablet, everything. And with this, you might find people that are using their mobile phone are going immediately to see what houses I'm selling, whereas people on a desktop are clicking my About page. And that tells you a little bit about what types of people are viewing your site on different digital devices. And while that doesn't sound super important, it very much can be. If everyone on mobile is going to say to your About page immediately, you need to make sure your About page loads seamlessly on mobile and looks nice.
This is another added bonus to the Hotjar analytics.
What this is we're watching someone use the website. In the past, before more privacy laws, you used to be able to see what they would be typing into your contact. You used to be able to see everything. Now, all you can see is what they physically do. This guy's looking at products. He's confused. He's going back to the home page. He wants to know about the company. That wasn't a good example. He didn't do anything while he was on here. Let's do a different one. So this is obviously a customer. They went immediately to the collections. They wanted to know what new products were in the store. looking for something very specific.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe they came here from an ad that we just placed about Hermes soap. You know, like this, even though this is an e-commerce website, it can show you a lot of good data about what your customers are looking for from you. All right, that's good. Yeah, but point is, if you're really interested in what people are doing, Hotjar is a good thing to add to your website. And you can always add it for a couple months and then take it off if it's too expensive. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about reputation management. Reputation management comes down to owning who the internet says that you are. That means helping other websites have up-to-date information about you. So for instance, if you were a realtor with one parent company and then you switched, you want to make sure that anytime the internet references you, they know where you are. If they're saying that you work at Keller Williams and they're saying you work at Sibsey Klein, that's telling Google that you are not a legitimate business by doing that. So you want to make sure that all of those aspects have the exact same information about you. So this doesn't come down to finding like bad Google reviews and getting away from them. Sadly, nothing you can do about those. That's just how it is. But you can own, like, say, you know, Angie's List has your address written down as one area and Yelp has it written down as another. Those are just little things that tell Google that you don't have it together. So you want to have it as much together as you can.
Yeah, and even if it's like your name, like if you, on one website, you used your middle initial, and on your Facebook page, it's just your first and last name. Like you want to make sure every page that you own has the correct information. Correct phone number, correct address. Like let's say you changed offices a year ago. Well, Manta still has the one from 10 years ago that you never updated. So you want to kind of research yourself, research your company, and make sure that, you know, everything is consistent, like on Yelp, on BBB, Manta, all that stuff.
And that can be as simple as, like, obviously none of you guys are going to have ink in your name, but if you did and it has a period on 10 websites, but it doesn't on 2, that's a really easy thing to fix that can immediately put you to the top of the Google search results.
So do we have anyone that wants to
Yeah,
try?
who wants to volunteer? Anybody?
Plug in their
So-
information to see if there's any inconsistencies.
Sure, why not? I'll be the guy.
All right, how do we spell your name?
Heather.
Oh. Hold on, let me go in incognito.
Yeah. Tip number 1, you got to do it in incognito.
Okay, Heather.
Haas, Haase. AA.
E? All right. Should I just do realtor?
Sure.
Realtor.
Otherwise, you might get other stories.
Okay. So this is what we want to know. Does the phone number right here match the phone number that you go by now?
Yes, but
Okay.
I no longer work with Caldwell. I'm with the
There we
top thing up there.
So there we go. Point 1. You know, like this is Google Maps. So you should own whoever.
This is your
you know,
Google
This
profile.
is yours, I would
Yeah.
assume, right? Like you uploaded this photo.
Yeah.
So just by going in there and changing to your correct broker is going to tell Google already, like, cohesive information, put her to the top of the list.
And just so you guys know, you can set up your own listing. So when you type in your business name and you see the thing on the right, like with hers, right here, it's pretty much set up a business listing. So that's where you can go in and change everything. And actually, other people can go in and suggest an edit. And she'll get pinged once I submit, like, hey, I don't think she works there anymore. And then you'll get an email saying, Ryan has suggested an edit.
When you say go in, you're going into google.com.
You're going to google.com/business.
So let's go back to Heather's real quick.
Business. So
So Heather, we've got Realtor.com thinks you work in Kettering. Zillow thinks you work in Xenia.
Xenia's right.
Xenia's right? Okay. And then they think you work in Columbus, Cincinnati.
That's because that's where HER Realtors is
Okay.
located.
But so like Google's not a genius, it's just a robot, right? Like it's just looking and saying like, where's Heather work? So little things like that where it's thinking that you work in all these different areas is not helping people find you when they search for like Xenia Realtor. So by just changing those little things, you will come up for that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Does anyone else want to be a guinea pig and see their reputation? Sure. What is your name?
It's Sonya, S-A-U-N-Y-A.
Mm-hmm.
Strickland.
Okay.
SAUNYA? Okay.
We don't do this to call you out. This is, like freebie information of
Yep.
how you can fix your SEO. Right.
To set up your listing? So like this thing on the right here where it has, her website, directions, address, phone number. Yeah, that's you go to google.com/business and you can set up your listing, plug in your hours of operation, all that jazz.
And specifically on Google Maps, if you obviously Heather owns hers, she uploaded her own photo, but if you don't own yours and it's got information about you that isn't accurate, but it's not you, it'll say is this your business? Claim, and then you just claim it and put your information in and update it.
Yeah, and you can add a whole bunch of images. I know for storefronts, you have interior images, exterior. All right.
All right.
And that's free.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you use the phone call we're getting all the time? We're calling about your Google business listing.
Yep.
25 minimum a day of those.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Probably saying they are selling SEO.
Okay, so with Sonia's, we've got that she's in Springboro. That looks pretty consistent. Her name's spelled correctly in all areas so far. Going. Springboro Chamber. Sonia, is Springboro your area that you focus in? Has it always been the area that you focused in?
I'm new, so.
Oh, okay. Then you have squeaky clean rep management right now, which is awesome. So this is an example of basically what you want it to look like. She doesn't have the Google Maps yet, though, right?
No.
So as Heather did have a Google Maps, Sonia, you probably want one. So again, you could do what I was saying, where you Google yourself and you claim this business as yourself, and then just put in your information.
When people put in
Oh, hold on. She's going to bring the mic. We're bad at that.
I know, I'm sorry.
I'm forgetting about it.
When people put in, where do people put in negative information, and when they do?
By negative, do you mean a poor review?
Yeah.
Oh, she wasn't a good realtor, she didn't help me.
Yeah.
A lot of times that's in Google. It can be in other,
It could be on Facebook, Yelp.
yeah. While you can't, you don't want to self-censor those. You don't want to just take them off because then you're not being, honest and open. But at the same time, you can answer them. So if someone on Google Maps is Heather was a horrible realtor, she didn't call me back. All you have to do is be answer, because now you own this listing and you can talk to them. You say, I'm so sorry, please contact me at this and we'll talk it out, or whatever you can to get them off from yelling on this and on to talking to you personally. That's the best strategy for anything, whether it's social media or whatever. You want them to get off off into yelling into the void and more into talking to you directly.
And I will say, sorry, Heather, but just looking at at your listing, I would say reviews always help your Google search. If you have 10 5-stars and your competitor has 3 5-stars, obviously that means doesn't mean you're more legit, but it makes you look like you do better things.
To Google, yeah. So even if you just get a few of your customers to be Heather was awesome, she really helped me out with finding or selling my home, that's all you need. It doesn't have to be long reviews. Just anyone to review it tells Google that you're legitimate.
Because most of the time, I use .loop, so most of my reviews go to Zillow. So how do you get Google reviews?
What did you say?
would-
Yeah.
So there's a website called Real Satisfied, and it hits a lot of different reviews. Now there are some other
Like, you can't always stream that into like Facebook and other pages and stuff like that. They have to physically go there. But you can send them like a link as soon as they're done and send them like, hey, go to this page and this page, or, you know, leave me a review. But there are websites set up to hit a lot of the different pages.
Anyone else want to guinea pig their reputation results? Sure.
I'm curious. Rhonda, Horn, H-O-R-N, R-H-O-N-D-A.
This is where we get shamed for bad spelling.
RHONA.
O-N-D-A.
R-H-O-N-D-A.
HORN.
Yep.
And I know you said you have 2 businesses. Do you want to do both, or you want to pick a business specifically?
You with Fisher?
I'm a Fisher and Associates.
Okay. Let's see. Is Huber Heights where you primarily are?
Yes.
Okay. You got a YouTube video, Pinterest, a Beaver Creek. That's pretty clean. What do we got? Montgomery Real Estate.
Okay. Can you Google the other one I just started?
Sure.
It's called the Backsplashers. And I haven't had a chance to do anything with it. Backsplashers.
Just, where's it at? In Dayton?
Dayton, Huber Heights. And it's nowhere.
All right.
Okay.
So let's go up a little bit. So what you're seeing right here is Get Air Huber Heights is owning the word backsplash right now, which isn't good if your company's name is Backsplashers. So doing little things like creating your Google Maps
Google listing.
Google listing in general, or putting yourself on Angie's List or any of those like bazillion of listing websites is going to help with that. There's also a lot of services, again, that you'd have to pay for, but they will go through and scrub all of your reputation management on all like the little sites that, you know, because the reason people get information that isn't correct about you is they take it from another site, right? So if Manta has the wrong phone number from you, then Brown Book takes it, then Angie's List takes it, and then it snowballs until it's on 50 different sites as the wrong phone number. So you can pay like a scrubbing service to go through all of those listings and change them to the correct ones.
Yeah.
Wendy. Last name Hattan.
Okay. Is Washington Township your area?
Is Washington Township Centerville?
Okay. You do have a Google listing. One thing you could do is, like we were talking about claiming your business, and kind of put your photo up there so that people, you know, when they're searching for, I need a realtor in Washington Township Center, then your face comes up. Like little things like that. Was your last name Clowan at some point? No. Okay. This is interesting. It's either somebody who has the same information as you and Google thinks that this is you, or maybe they had the wrong name for you. Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense then. Let's check it out.
Rick.
Did you do a LinkedIn blog article?
Yeah, that's what that's pulling.
Yeah. And again, like if you know, like that's a good example. If you do LinkedIn blogging, it's going to come up very easily because it's something that Google's really looking at. So like blogging, social media, that kind of stuff, those photos will come up when you post your name, which is why everyone's like, don't post all your personal stuff on social media, because it will come up, as you can see.
So is it true, and then this might be something you're touching in our next class for video, that if you start doing YouTube, that you're going to hit higher into Google Analytics if somebody's just searching for a realtor in Kettering or Oakwood or something like that?
Yeah, and partially because Google owns YouTube now.
Yeah.
But as long as you tag it the same way you would tag like a web page, you want to make sure that it's relevant content to the video. then yeah, it does help. Like
Yeah.
with hers, like that was like the third thing that popped up was her YouTube video.
The worst
So
thing. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
So I have a YouTube video on my business Facebook page,
Mhm.
and it's not showing up anywhere there.
Nope.
How would I add that to that then? Oh, there it is.
Is it on? Is it from Facebook?
Do you have a YouTube page of your own?
Yes,
Okay.
but it runs on Facebook.
So you copy the link from the your YouTube
Yeah.
channel and then paste it in Facebook?
Yes. So it does show up if you look into videos under me. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that can be for a number of reasons. Maybe these hits on you, people are really interested in it and hitting this more than the views on your video. It's really just based, Google's trying to show you what the most people are looking at about you, right? So if the video isn't being viewed as much as these things, you're going to see that first. So that's reputation management. We'd like to take some questions about this class and the class prior if anyone has some, and then if anyone wants to volunteer their website to go through like some of the things we talked about, and we can check, is it mobile responsive? What's it built in? Any of those kind of questions that you have, this is the time. We're totally open to walking through your personal websites if you'd like. Mhm. All right. What is your website?
Sale with Strickland.
Sell?
Yes, SELL.
All right. First thing, and not to pick on you, but I'm trying to give you all the information that we possibly can. See this on the top left where it says not secure?
Mm-hmm.
That means that your website doesn't have an SSL certification, which is, would you explain what that is and why
Yeah,
it's
so
important?
it's pretty, like, the little lock when you're on Google or any other this thing?
Yes.
Connection is secure. What that is it's pretty much just making sure that you're not going to, you have the highest chance of not being attacked by malware, or, it's pretty much
Protection
like
against hacking.
Yeah.
And maybe
good
that's
for
not
security.
a concern for you, but for a lot of, it's another thing that tells Google, like, legitimate business, show this to people.
And most website hosts offer them. I know with our website host, one of them that we use, they give us a free SSL. Some it's like $50 or $20 for the whole year. But definitely I would suggest that right off the rip. Another thing, if I reload the website, see how slow this picture's taken? The logo, it's still
It's probably
really
either
big.
been uploaded as a giant image, like there's a lot of pixels inside that image. So, and this is another thing we could talk about for hours, but like resizing that image so that it's for web quality will make it load really quickly.
And when I'm at 100%, see how it kind of breaks the search bar? This is what you would see on a laptop. But if I go 90%, which is stepping it back a little bit, then it forms, it aligns everything. So right now this looks a little broke right there with the find of home.
Something I would suggest, and of course, like we do design, so not able to be read on a mobile phone or on a desktop. So putting like a filter behind it, getting
Yeah.
a different photo, anything like that. It is mobile friendly though, as you can see. So it is,
Yeah, and you can
Happening.
fix this by just putting like a gray overlay above the image and then have the text on top.
let's see what her site is built in. And the reason we're going through this with you is just so that you can see that you can do this to other people's websites and your own. Like you can see what they're doing right and wrong and kind of like walk through what we've been talking about. All right, so you do have Google Analytics. Woo! Hosted through GoDaddy. What's it built in?
It's just custom.
Custom? So straight code.
Mhm.
Are you able to make changes to this website? Yes. Okay, that's good. Do you have to go into the code, or are you able to like drag and drop and that kind of a thing? So straight code, which is absolutely fine. Like if you're like, I don't want to mess with my website, I just want to call my guy and he's gonna code it out. So basically, if anyone's going to build a new website, make sure you ask this question: can I make changes to myself, or do I have to get into the code? And if it's not important to you, then it doesn't matter. But if you're like, I want control of my website, I want to be able to like post a new blog and change a picture, then it has to be user-friendly so that you don't have to go into the code to make changes. So it's totally up to what you want. I want to check if any of the pages are tagged right or anything like that. So see how he like moused over that? That's the tag of this page, which is good. It says Springsboro Real Estate, Sonia Strickland, Coldwell Banker Heritage. So that's telling Google this is a legitimate page and it's Sonia Strickland's and it's about Coldwell Banker.
And you have the phone number. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
Sonia Strickland, Springboro Realtor or info.
So the tagging's done well. Makes sense.
You got reviews right off the rip.
Mm-hmm.
I'd probably say something about yourself for sure. Mobile IDX, yeah.
Mobile works. This is important, if you're selling right on your website, you want people to be able to look at it on their phone.
The only thing that's kind of weird is just the right here. You have like the logo down here. I don't know if it's supposed to be that way. Yeah, it just seems like
Call your guide. Just kidding.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's probably something little in the responsive design.
Yeah, I think that there's something like, and that agree with the logo, they must have the IAM logo, not the government.
Mm-hmm.
So it's probably also kind of
Mm-hmm. It's all easy stuff to fix. Who else wants to volunteer for their website to be picked apart? All right, what is your URL?
LoxleyMartin.com.
Oh, that was actually on your. Where did it go?
That website button's probably not going to work because it's an
Because
old
your
one.
Facebook. I just didn't want to spell it. All right. How do you LOX?
Loxley. It's down there. It's like the sixth one down.
Oh, okay. Brett. All right, let's check.
So right there, I would probably put what you do for a living
Okay.
and like the area.
So when we kind of showed you in the back end where it was like the code and you can type in, that's where that comes from. So it'd be like, Heather Haas, Realtor at, whatever you're looking for. Check if this is responsive, but I have a feeling it will not be. It is. All right.
I'm going to look at the.
Do you know what yours is built with?
It's a team website, so whatever
Gotcha.
my team leader did.
Oh, so it's like a subsite of that.
Yeah.
It's got Google Analytics already on it.
Your
Nice.
Facebook pixel.
Open Rusty. Query. It looks like it's straight code.
It looks like it's built in that. What was it called? This thing. Open Rusty.
Do you know if that's the template or is that the code itself?
Don't know.
Are you able to make changes to this yourself?
Or do
I
you
think
just-
so. I think, or they call a guy. I think we have a guy too.
Which
My-
is fine. That's totally fine.
It's totally like MySpace. This is what MySpace was trying to prepare us for.
Yeah. So you do have an SSL because you got the little lock up there.
Okay.
Let's look at some page tagging and stuff like that.
Are there any other pages to this?
Yeah, click on the home button, which is Loxley Martin, I believe. So that's our home page.
Senior Real Estate and Homes. Good, they tagged it.
Do you have a logo? Is that this LM?
That's our team logo.
So I would probably suggest putting that here as well, because that's just the standard.
Realtor logo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have individual pages for each city. Like just having the analytics, I would love to see what cities get the most hits.
Okay.
That would be cool. Do you have access to your analytics right now?
She want to know how we access them. I have no idea. That's my team leader who does that. I think he has some other analytics built into there. I'd have to check with him, and he is always finding like different ways to see where everybody's going and coming from and everything.
And you can always ask whoever built your website. If you didn't build it yourself, just be like, hey, do you have the login to my analytics? If they do, be like, can I have the login to my analytics as my own?
Yeah, or they just add you as a user.
Mm-hmm. But the good thing is we saw that it's on there, so it's collecting the data all the time.
Anybody else?
Sure.
Dot what?
US. Okay, looks like it is mobile friendly.
Oh, I remember this one. Yeah. The one thing on this is that you see this part from right here to here, it's not moving, like it's just staying there. So you can't read. All you get to like see the rest of the page, you only get to view it right here. So that's like, yeah, I would fix that ASAP.
That's something in the code, though, that you wouldn't be able to do yourself, that you have to ask someone to do for you. Because then, whoa, just went down there. But basically, can you pull open this site real quick so I can show that?
Mm-hmm. This
Like
one?
this big portion, yeah. Just click over to it. This little white bar on this one is the big red bar on your site. So they have theirs set as, to be this many pixels high, whereas yours is set to be like this many pixels high. So that's just something they can do in the code and say, like, I don't want it to take up the whole fold. I just want it to be at the top like this.
Yeah, and you could I would do like half the size, and then when people scroll, you can shrink it. So like on this site, you see the sub nav at the top where it has contact us, grooming, the social links.
Mm-hmm.
When you start to go down the page, it goes away.
See?
That
Yeah.
way you can see everything else. When you go back up, boom, pops back up.
Yeah. Sadly, again, that's something in the code. But if you have a guy that you can use your code guy, just be like, those are the terms. Just ask him why your nav bar is so high and why it's so many pixels wide.
Yeah, and especially with you two, you guys have a team, so whoever manages the websites probably would love to hear feedback. So he's like, oh, wow, I didn't know that was going on.
Mm-hmm.
And then he does it to everyone's page, so everyone's consistent.
Let's see. Mobile friendly? Yep, it is mobile friendly. Some weird things are happening with the code, though, where some of it's mobile friendly and some of it's not.
Yeah, it's like the navigation's blown up too big, because when I go mobile, the phone number, all this space.
So it's like close. It's like half mobile responsive. It looks like it's maybe responsive on tablets, but not on phones. What about how's the tagging? Tagging is good. What is this built in, do you know?
You have Google Analytics.
Ooh. This is that little built with app icon or whatever. So that will never go, if you download it, it'll never go away. It'll always be up there.
And you can hide it, you can remove it.
Yeah, it's not something that you can't get rid of.
Do you have to have your website open when you do download the built-in
No.
website, Or you just do it when you go into
Chrome.
Chrome
Yeah.
and just do that. So then when you when you open your website,
Mhm.
you can go up to that icon and get the information.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, you're
Okay.
just downloading this for any website, right? You don't have to have your website open during, and then it will perform what it's supposed to perform regardless of what website you're on.
Regardless?
Yeah, so like if you were on Amazon, like technically you could build with Amazon and see what they're using. So basically you can use it on any website at any time.
Yeah, so this is what you would see in the Google Store,
Yep.
Chrome Store. Click on it. Obviously, I have it downloaded already, so my only option is to remove it. But yours would say add to Chrome, and then it would download, and then you would see it on your right here.
Now, if you use a tablet
Mhm.
or an iPad, this still works?
Yep,
with
it
all
works
of
on a
that?
phone, on a tablet,
Okay.
anything you can physically view your own website on, it'll tell you about. All right. When did you guys have this website built? Was it a long time ago? Oh. Do that.
Looks like it's hi boo.
So it looks like it's in straight code. Do you guys ever make changes to your website yourself? Okay. The bad news is you wouldn't be able to make changes to this website because it's hard-coded. But if that's not important to you, then it doesn't matter. You know, like if you don't want to make changes, if this is more of a business card than a website that you need to change all the time, then that's perfectly fine.
Yeah, to me it seems like there's an update that they did, and it just kind of broke some things on the website that they just need to fix.
Let's quickly explain like the update thing. So the most, simplest way I can put it is that the internet is constantly updating your plugins, updating whatever you built this in, and so since your website is a living thing, you have to keep updating the website so that it works with everything. If you don't update it, it will eventually break, right? So what I'm assuming happened is that they updated it, but it wasn't ready for the update, and so it broke some of the functionality on the top with that big red bar. So, all you'd have to tell your developer is like, whatever update you did broke the navigation bar and it's too long, and they'll know what that means and know that they need to fix it. And of course, I don't know what, hosting plan you're on with your web developer, but if you have a hosting and maintenance plan with them, then they should fix it for you.
Yeah, as far as the tagging goes, it's pretty solid.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody else?
Mm-hmm. The backslash. Right. So it is secure. You've got your little lock on the top. Let's see if it's mobile friendly.
I would say a little bit more about your company for sure on your title tag.
Okay.
And then if you have a logo, add the logo.
There's a little tile thing around there somewhere. It should be a logo, but I don't even know where it's at. And see, like, why won't it move and like do anything good? You have
looks
to go
like
to those
it's,
little tabs at the top.
I would definitely add more to your tags.
So I just tried to show like just pictures of stuff that we did, and I was just basically those are the tile jobs that we did.
Uh-huh.
I really want to say like just like here, look at tile, call us.
Yep. I can tell you, remember how we just tried to reputation management your business and look it up, and Google didn't show it to us.
Yeah.
And the reason is because it's like, when Google sees this, right, it sees backsplashers.com, and it sees our work, our company, but it doesn't see tile jobs in Dayton or like, backsplash work in Kettering, whatever you want people to find about you, by tagging it in there, it will, fix that
So I'll
for
be
you.
tagging that in where?
On the back end of your website.
Okay.
You said this was in Squarespace, right?
No, is Vistaprint. I was ordering some cards. It says you want to order a website. And I was like, yeah, boom, give me one of them.
Yeah, yeah. So it'll have a back end too. Whatever kind of platform you're using, it should have a back end.
Yeah.
So similar to the WordPress one we showed you, where it was like you were into your tags and it showed you, the code, and then underneath the words, and you just changed the words and pressed update. It's the same way.
Thanks.
Yep.
I needed help bad. Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. We went over, didn't we?
Did we? Oh.
Great problem to have. Okay, so is everybody good? Well, I just want to say I think this was a fantastic class. You guys just got some information. You got it from the experts doing some work for free. And I can tell you one of the associations that's joining us for the chat also thought this was a fantastic class and just expressed their appreciation for the great info. So I want to remind everybody the next class, our fourth and final, is December the 19th at 1:30. And also, I have an evaluation form if you would fill that out before you leave. But I also, at the beginning of the class, said this series has been made possible by Caliber Home Loans. And Cheryl Mathis is here from Caliber. So, again, thank you. Be sure to show Cheryl some love. And Ryan and Rachel, again, fantastic. Thank you. We appreciate it. We'll see you next month.